Okay, good. We're in the middle of a sugya, machlokas between Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, whether Kinyan HaPeris and Kinyan HaGuf, whether Kinyan HaPeris is Kinyan HaGuf. Rabbi Yochanan is of the opinion that the Kinyan HaPeris is Kinyan HaGuf, and therefore, like you're the owner. Reish Lakish is of the opinion that no, that Kinyan HaPeris is Lav Kinyan HaGuf. Where did this come into play? That the father went ahead and gave a gift to his son, so he retains the Kinyan Paris, and the son is the Kinyan Aguf. So if the son would, and the Mishnah said, but the son would sell it, it's not a sale till the father dies. What happens if the son would predecease the father? So if the sale is a good sale, then it goes on, right? If it's not a good sale, then not. So we saw that Rabbi Yochanan was the opinion that you're not koina. Rabbi Yochanan opinion that the second is because Kinyan Paris is Kinyan Aguf. So what the father owns stops the sale that the son made because he had the Kinyan Paris. And Reish Lakish said, no, it is a good sale because Kinyan Paris is Lavka Kinyan Aguf. And since the son had the Kinyan Aguf, he was the real what? He was the real owner. We brought in why is it necessary to say this machlokes? We had it already in Bikurim, right? If someone goes ahead, if someone has the Kinyan Paris, can he go ahead and say read the parsha? So he could read the Torah because it's Adam Hashem Satali. Reish Lakish says you can't because why? Because Kinyan Paris is not Kinyan Aguf. So what was necessary? So we made a necessity. We said we might think by what regarding a son that Kinyan Paris is Lavka Kinyan Aguf, the father's Michael. We might think by what by there it's where he leaves it over for himself. Therefore, it is Kinyan Aguf. Kamash Monetzlav. That was so. Therefore, that's the machlokes. Now we're holding by a kasha that Reish Lakish is going to ask what on Rabbi Yochanan. Just one second.
Please.
Okay, so we're up to Kuf Lamed Vav Amid Beis. Kuf Lamed Amid Beis. Okay. Asivei, a little bit up, about 8-9 lines up. Asivei, Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan says Kinyan Paris is Kinyan Aguf. Yes, Reish Lakish. This is a Gemara we had recently. Nechasei lecha. My nechasim are to you. I'm giving you my nechasim. V'achrecha yirish ploni. And after you, so and so inherit. So I give it to Ruvain, and Ruvain, after you die, Shimon will inherit. V'achrav yirish ploni. And after Shimon, it'll go to Levi. Okay, so 3 people: Ruvain, Shimon, Levi. Ruvain gets it initially, and after the death of Ruvain, it goes to Shimon. After the death of Shimon, it goes to Levi. Meis Rishon, if Ruvain dies, Kana Sheni, then Shimon's Kaina. Meis Sheni, if Shimon dies, Kana Shlishi. Okay, no chiddush whatsoever. Meis Sheni, what happens if Shimon dies? Okay, so it's in the hands of Ruvain. Shimon predeceases Ruvain, and now B'chai Rishon, in the lifetime of Ruvain. So now there's no way L'chera Levi can get this, because for Levi to get it, it had to get to Shimon. Good? Question is, what happens to this land now? That's the question. Again, Levi can't get it because Shimon never got it, correct? What happens to the land now? There's 2 possibilities. It could stay by Ruvain, or it can go back to the original Naisin Matana. So now, Yachsun Nechasim Liyorshe Rishon. It goes back to the Yorshim after Ruvain dies. It would go back to L'chera the Yorshim of, well, obviously Ruvain it has to be that Ruvain's dead, or else there's no Shaila. So it goes back to the Yorshim of Ruvain. Now Ruvain has the Kinyan Paris, correct, guys? Think about it. It doesn't belong to Ruvain because Ruvain, when he dies, it goes to Shimon. So let's view Ruvain as having the Kinyan Paris. So now, if you hold Kinyan Paris is Kinyan Aguftami, we can understand why it goes back to Ruvain. Because again, he's the owner, and therefore it goes back to him. Vim Isa, and if it's true, like you say, Reb Shimon ben Lakish, that Kinyan Paris is Lavka Kinyan Aguftami, and therefore what? The Ruvain's rights are, for all intents and purposes, over with, because he's dead. Levi can't get it because it never went to Shimon. Who should it revert to? The Naisim Matana should revert to the original guy. Again, one more time. It reverts back to the Ruvain's Yarshim. Now, why does it view back to Ruvain's Yarshim? Because we view Ruvain as the owner. Since Kinyan HaPeris is Kinyan HaGuf, and Ruvain ostensibly has Kinyan Peris because he only has use till he's dead, and then it goes on to Shimon, well, forget about it. It's not going on to Shimon, Shimon's dead. It's not going on to Levi because Levi only gets it if Shimon got it. Now, two possibilities. It stays by Ruvain or it goes back to Rijleis Matana. If you hold Kinyan Peris is Kinyan HaGuf Dami, then Ruvain's the owner, it stays by his kids, and that's what it said. It goes to Yarshe Rishon. But if you hold like you Reish Lakish, that Kinyan HaPeris is Lavki Kinyan HaGuf Dami, then it should revert back to the Noisim Matana. After all, Ruvain's not the owner because he only has Kinyan Peris, a Gavaldic Kasha on Reish Lakish. Okay? Then he said, Liyoshi Noisim Ibayle. Amalei, so said Reish Lakish back to Rabbi Yochanan, Kvar Tirgmer Rabbi Yoshia, Bibavel, Achrecha, again, Reish Lakish Rabbi Yochanan in Eretz Yisrael. Rabbi Yoshia was sent in Bavel, Achrecha shiny. Achrecha is different. Achrecha is different, says the Rashbam, guys. Let's see the Rashbam, great Rashbam here. Achrecha shiny, about 7 lines up. The mashma, the guf upeiris, nasan l'rishayin. The mashma, the guf upeiris, nasan l'rishayin. Fellas, we thought that Ruvain only had the Kinyan Peris, correct? Because it's not going to stay in his family. And the answer is no. He owns everything. He owns everything. And since he owns everything, it's not nichtas into the shaila of Kinyan Peris, Kinyan HaGuf. He owns everything. He owns the Guf also. It's just that when he dies, it doesn't stay in his family. But when he has it, in Yiddish, Kenny, he has it in Gansen, right? He has it, he has the whole thing. He has it in Gansen. Beautiful. So therefore, it's not a shaila on me. Where Amach like is Reish Lakish between me and you is with Kinyan Peris is Kinyan HaGuf. Achrecha shiny Asrecha is not a shaila Kinyan Peris Kinyan HaGuf. He owns the whole thing outright. Continues Rashbam. The Behedya Pirish, he said openly, Achrecha Yirish Ploni. After Ruvain, then Shimon should get it. The Halesa Del Yorish, and there's no one to Yarshin. Shimon's dead. Hilkach Yisharu Biyad Yarshe Rishon. It stays by what? By Ruvain. The Haki Kamalei. Kol Yemei Chayecha Yeya Kol Shelcha. All the days of your life, it should be totally yours. Hapri v'haguf, everything. Umasha Yishtaya Achrecha, and whatever's left over afterwards, Yikabel Ploini, then Shimon should get it. As we're going to see, fellas, the Rishon sells it, it would be a good sale. If he only has Kinyan HaGuf, how can he sell it? Well, it must be that what? That Achrecha is different, and it has what? He owns both. That's the way Reish Lakish fends off the attack of Rabbi Yochanan. He asked the same question. Kamei derav, Ama Achrecha shiny, Achrecha is different. Good. Now, Fred the Gemara, but Tanya Yachzru Liyoshei Noisein, that if Ruvain dies and Shimon dies also, and therefore it never got to Shimon, Shimon died before Ruvain, and then Ruvain dies, it goes back to the Noisein Matana. But if you're telling me Achrecha is different, it should stay by Ruvain, right? Achrecha different. He owns the whole thing. The Noisein Matana is out of the picture. He gave away the whole thing. He's out. Says the Brisa, he's not out. It goes back to him. Obviously, it's going back to him. He must hold that Kinyan and Peris is what is Lavka Kinyan HaGuf Dami. It must be that, but he's not considered an owner. Therefore, it goes back to the original guy. Okay, so we have a problem. We have a problem. If Shimon predeceases Ruvain, Levi doesn't get it. One place we say it goes back to the Ruvain because he owns the whole thing outright. The next place we're saying goes back to the Noisein Matana because he only owns the Kinyan Peris. And Reish Lakish holds Kinyan Peris Lav Kinyan HaGuf Dami. So now, Tanoihi. So we don't the shaila is, guys, Loit Rabbi Yochanan. The shaila is Loit Rabbi Yochanan, right? Loit Shimon ben Lakish, guys. I got a good teretz. Achrecha is different. I could say Achrecha is different. It goes back what? It goes back to the Ruvain. I have another brisa that says what? That it goes back to the original owner. I hold Kinyan Peris is Lavka Kinyan HaGuf Dami. It really now is a shaila according to Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, so now we're saying Tanoihi. It's the Machloikis Tanoim, and now Rabbi Yochanan is going to be like one of them. Rabbi Yochanan what? It's going to be like one of them. Tanoihi. It's a Machloikis Tanoim. So this Machloikis between Reish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan is really a Machloikis Tanoim. The Tanya, we learned in the Brisa. We learned in a Brisa. Nechasai lecha, my nechasim are yours. V'achrecha leploini, and then it goes to so and so. Okay, so now let's go through it. If my nechasim to you, and after it's pliny, the havamina is we'll hold that what you have the kinyan Paris. The Yored Rishon, the first guy goes umachar, and he sells it. So fellas, let's theorize before we go. If you hold kinyan Paris is kinyan aguf, then he could sell it. If you hold Paris is lavka kinyan aguf, then he can't. So now he sells it the achal, right? And then now he eats it up. The one who sold it to eats it up, and there's only a little bit left. Hasheni meitzimi yad alakuchis. The sheni goes ahead and he takes it away from the hands of the lakuchis. You know why? Because kinyan Paris is lavka kinyan aguf dami. Kinyan Paris is lavka kinyan aguf. So therefore, the sale is not a good sale, and therefore the second guy takes it away from the first the lokeach. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel Omer. Reb Shimon Gamliel is of the opinion, Ein l'sheni ela masha shaya rishain. Number two only gets what's left over for number one, because it is a good sale. Because he holds kinyan Paris is kinyan aguf dami. Guys, good? Guys, very important. If you hold the sale is a good sale, it must be the rights of the first guy equals the kinyan guf, and therefore the sale is a good sale. If, on the other hand, you hold kinyan Paris is lavka kinyan aguf dami, then it's not a good sale. Rebbe, who holds it's not a good sale, holds lavka kinyan aguf. Reb Shimon, who says that what? That it is a good sale, he holds kinyan Paris is kinyan aguf. So to answer up, Rabbi Yochanan holds like Shimon Gamliel. Rabbi Yochanan holds like Shimon Gamliel, and Rebbe, and Rish Lakish holds like Rebbe, right? Rabbi Yochanan holds like Shimon Gamliel, and Rish Lakish holds like Rebbe. Guys, we're good? Okay, continuing on. Urimini, I'll ask you a stira. Nechasei lecha, my nechasim are to you, v'achrecha leploini, yored rishon u'moicher, v'oichel, divrei Reb Shimon. So obviously he's of the opinion that he could sell it, because kinyan Paris is lavka kinyan aguf. That's a stira in Reb Shimon Gamliel. Again, he goes down, right? V'oichel, yored rishon u'moicher, v'oichel, divrei Rebbe. That's what Rebbe. So Rebbe, because kinyan Paris is kinyan aguf. Reb Shimon Gamliel Leime ein liyarsh l'rishain el achilas Paris b'vad. Only achilas Paris. So kasha the Rebbe ad the Rebbe. In the first price, the Rebbe holds lavka kinyan aguf. In the second price, he holds kinyan aguf. Reb Shimon Gamliel holds in the first price kinyan aguf. In the second price, he holds lavka kinyan aguf. The Rebbe ad the Rebbe like kasha halagufa halapeira. There's no kasha. The according to Rebbe, the guf of the karka, it's asa for him to sell. And if he sells it, the sheni could take it out. So he holds kinyan Paris is lavka kinyan aguf dami, and therefore halagufa. That's the first brisa. Halapeira, but if he sells it for Paris, that's the second brisa. So the second brisa that said that kinyan Paris that he is allowed to eat it because he could sell it. Again, the first brisa he couldn't sell it. Therefore, this first guy goes down. Yored the whatever he 88. That's the Yored the second guy can get back. Why? Because it wasn't a good sale. Second price that it was a good sale was the Paris that he had a right to sell. Now we had a problem. Shimon Gamliel said in the first price that it's kinyan Paris, and the second price he said not. And Rabbi Shimon Gamliel like kasha. The second price that said that it's not a good sale, that's the lechatchila. You shouldn't sell it lechatchila. And the first price is speaking b'di'eved. Okay? First price is b'di'eved. So now, according to Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, you shouldn't sell it, but if you sell it, it's a good sale. Amabaya, Ezer Rasha Arum, who is considered a cunning Rasha, Zeh Hamasa Eitzel Limcha ben Chasim. Someone tells a person who only has the rights of the pay risk, he has the rights until the next guy gets it. Limcha Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Why is he a Rasha Arum, fellas? He has nothing to gain. You're telling a guy, after that guy's death, it's going to go to somebody else. Well, sell it. You know what? Go ahead and sell it, right? So therefore, you're a Rosh Aram because you gave advice and you didn't go and sell. Rabbi Yochanan, halacha Reb Shimon Gamliel. The halacha is like Reb Shimon Gamliel. That what? The halacha is like Reb Shimon Gamliel. Three lines from the top. Ein l'sheni elamash shaya rishain. Why? Because kinyan Paris is kinyan aguf. Correct? Right? Okay, we'll get to this in a second. So I had a problem. Let me tell you my problem. We're going to answer it in a second. The share the other day, I told you there are three places in Shas we paskin like Reish Lakish first is Rabbi Yochanan. This is one of them. What does Reish Lakish say? Kinyan Paris is lav kinyan guftami. And here we have the Gemara paskin like a lot, like Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, that Kinyan Paris is kinyan guftami. How do you reconcile the two? How do you reconcile the two? So let's see this. Rashbam discusses it. Let's do the Rashbam, guys, the Tanya, okay? About 8 lines down, the Tanya. Okay, we'll read from there, the Tanya. The Rebbe Svirale, Lav Kikinyan Aguf Dami. Rebbe holds it's Lav Kikinyan Aguf. V'ach Price of the Tanya Yachsel Yorshe. No, he's saying that it goes back, the first price that we said, it goes back to the original giver. Rebbe he, Reb Shimon Svirale, Kikinyan Aguf Dami. V'ach the Tanya Yachsel Yorshe Rishon, it goes back to Ruvain's kids. Reb Shimon he. That's the way you explain the Bryce that we just learned. By non-sphere like Reb Shimon. Behind the pasuk Reb Yochanan, Reb Shimon. Reb Yochanan paskin like Reb Shimon. That Kinyan Peiris is lav Kinyan Aguftami. Umiu l'Reish Lakish lav b'Kinyan Peiris Kinyan Aguftami. As I prefaced it, guys, you have to follow, keep your eye on the ball. This whole dialogue was according to Reb Yochanan. The whole dialogue over here, the Machlokas Tanoim, is Reb Yochanan. Like Reish Lakish, he had no problem. Reish Lakish says, the case that it says that it goes back to the original owner, right? That's Kinyan Peris Lavka Kinyan Aguftami. And the other case before is Achrecha's shiny. So he had a way to touch up. Achrecha's shiny because he gave him both the Kinyan Peris and the Kinyan Aguf. This whole dialogue was according to Rabbi Yochanan. Continues the Rashbam. El Kuli Alma Lavka Kinyan Aguftami. Reish Lakish is of the opinion, everyone holds that it's Lavka Kinyan Aguftami. Ubahab Pligi. Rebbe Savar Achrecha Nami Kinyan Peris Ba'almahu. Rebbe, who says that that the sale is final, is because achrecha is no different, and therefore kinyan peris is lavka kinyan aguf. So therefore, your sale is not a good sale. Right? It's not a good sale. The islay the rishon kinyan peris ba'almahu. The islay the rishon. He only has kinyan peris. Hilkach sheni moitzim yad al kuchas. Therefore, the second guy can take it away because the first guy didn't have a right to sell it. The Hechad the Mace Sheni, where Shimon dies, Yachsul Yosher Noisin, you go back to the Noisin Matana. The Kinyan Paris of Ruvain, Lavka Kinyan Aguftami. Reb Shimon Gamliel Savar, Ba'alma Kinyan Paris, Lavka Kinyan Aguftami. Guys, you hear this? Reb Shimon Gamliel Savar, Ba'alma, all over, Kinyan Paris is Lavka Kinyan Aguftami. Ba'hacha, and over here, Achrecha Shiny. Over here, Achrecha is different. Why? V'gufu Paris Akni L'Rishon. You gave both to him. Hilkach English Sheni Elamasha Shayarishain. All you have is what? Is whatever he left over, because he had every right to use it up. Because he had both the Kinyan Paris and Kinyan Aguf. The Hechad the Mace Sheni Yachsul Yoshe Rishon is going to go back to Ruvain. V'chein Ikka, says the Rashbam, this is the main pshat. The Hashtule Tikshi Hilchasa Hilchasa. You want to have a kasha halacha halacha. The Paskin and Hilchasa Reish Lakish, the Perika Choylitz, and Yavamis we paskin like Reish Lakish, that Kinyan Paris is Lavka Kinyan Aguf Dami. So the reason why Achrecha is shiny is because you both have the Kinyan Paris and Kinyan Aguf, and that's why there's nothing for the second guy, but not because Kinyan Aguf Dami, it's because Lav Kinyan Aguf Dami. The English shiny Elamasha Shai Rishon Kid Paskina Hilchasa. Come on, okay, guys. So outside, let me just tell you what I just told you. The reason we're saying over here Lachas like Shimon Gamliel is because the second guy has nothing. He in other words, the second guy, right, he has whatever's left over is left over because the sale of the first guy was a good sale. There's two possibilities to reason why the first guy's sale was a good sale. Kinyan Paris is Kinyan Aguf, or the first guy's sale, since it's speaking Lachrecha, he had both the Kinyan Paris and Kinyan Aguf. If that's the case, Kinyan Paris is Lavka Kinyan Aguf Dami. The reason why it's a good sale is because it wasn't a case of only Kinyan Paris. Since he said Nachrecha, it was totally in his jurisdiction. And therefore, when he passes the halacha now, and like Reb Shimon Gamliel, it's speaking in the case of Acharecha. Because Reb Shimon Gamliel holds what? Kinyan Paris is Lavka Kinyan Aguf Dami. Just like Reish Lakish holds Kinyan Paris is Lavka Guf Dami. And that would answer my problem. Again, what was my problem? I told you, we know for sure we paskin like Reish Lakish, that Kinyan Peres Lavka Kinyan Agufdami. On the other hand, we're saying over here that that Rav Shimon Gamliel is saying that Allah is like him. Rabbi Yochanan is saying that Allah is like him. But 1 second, you got a problem then. And the answer is Reish Shimon Lakish also holds Kinyan Peres as Lavka Kinyan Agufdami. Well, is Lavka Kinyan Agufdami, how come the person's sale is a good sale and the second person has nothing? What's the answer? Because it's speaking about a case of Achrecha. Achrecha is not a case of Kinyan Peres or it's both. He has the Kinyan Aguf. Since he has the Kinyan Aguf, therefore the sale is a good sale. But if he only had the Peres, it's Lav Kinyan Aguf Dami. So Mashpam is Masuk Kidvash. Okay, now Umayda Shem Nasna B'Matna Shriv Meira Loi Asa Klum. So we're speaking about a case of a bari. We're speaking about a case of a bari. But in a case where the first mechira was chal, right? Right? If the Rishon gave a matnas shchiv meirat lacherim, he gave the nice matana gave to Ruvain and said, "This is yours," and afterwards to Shimon, and afterwards to Levi, right? And he's a shchiv meirah. Then lo yasa klum. The sale, if he sells it, lo yasa klum. My time up. Amar Abaya matnas shchiv meirah lekona el ella acher misa. After misa is complete, ukvat kodmu, and the second person ukvat kodmu achrecha. The sheni that he said to give him to. Okay, you're saying according to Reb Shimon Gamliel that since he has the Rishon, if he sells it, the sheni has nothing, right? The sheni, in other words, it's a good sale. What happens if the person, the Rishon, right? He's a shchiv meirah, and he sells it, right? And he sells it. So loy oma klum, but he said it's nothing because the achrecha, the second guy only gets it. The second guy, I thought I had it. I thought I had it again. Sorry. In order for the second person to get nothing, it has to be the sale was a good sale, right? In other words, he's selling it to someone, and it has to be a good sale. What happens if he said this? He tried to sell it. He's a shchemeirah, and he says, "This is yours after I die." Once he dies, at that point in time, already it's in the hands of the sheni. Again, the shchiv meirah's ratzon is gemar misa. At the time of his death, at that period of time, automatically the original Nisain said, when you die, it goes afterwards to so and so. So you didn't have a right to give it to him because you're dead. You're dead. No, the only time a sale works is when you're viable. But since it's not yours to sell anymore, because once you said achrecha, that achrecha came before the sale. It's not a sale in the lifetime of the shchivim, right? It's only after his death. Once he dies, it goes to Shimon. Once he dies, it's going to Shimon. We said that Shimon doesn't have any right in that. That's only when it's an outright sale. When he's not a shchivim, when he's a bari, and therefore he had achrecha, he had both the guf and the peris. But now you're telling me he gave it as a matna shchivim. Let's say, for example, he said it's yours from a yom lachamisa. So he's keeping the peris for himself. In that case, once he dies, it's gone and it already goes to the sheni. That's pshat is over here. Umayda Reb Shimon Gamliel is Mayda Shemnasna b'mana shchiv meirah. If the second guy, Rishon, the first guy moving, who's dying, sells it, but through matna shchiv meirah, layasa klum, he didn't do anything, and therefore the sheni would get it. My timer, Amar Abaya, matna shchiv meirah leikona ela la'acha misa. And he already beat him to the punch. The sheni beat him to the punch. Guys, is that good? Umi Amar Abaya Hachi that what that acha gemar misa va itmar man shchim meira me emes laikona Abaya Amar im gemar misa Rav Amar la'acha gemar misa. Right. So here he says with the gemar misa, we need him to say what But we need him to say what? La'acha Gemar Misa. Says Gemara Hadabei Abaya Me'ahi. Abaya had charata from Im Gemar Misa. It's not Im Gemar Misa, but La'acha Gemar Misa. And Mai Demahi Hadabei. How do you know he changed his mind in the second round? Maybe he changed his mind in the first round, and therefore it will be coinciding with the death. It says you can't say that. That nan. This is the get if I die. He said from this death. This why? Because you have to get lachamisa. So you see that what? Because after the misa, not im gemar misa. If it be im gemar misa, then there'd be a chalois before he dies. So memela, therefore, the moida that if the first guy went ahead and gave it as to the sale, he sold it as a shlumeira to another individual, that the second person, Shimon, would get it because the achrecha of the original Ma'aseh Matana preceded the sale of the shlumeira. Rabbi Zeira, Rabbi Yochanan. Halacha kereb Shimon Gamliel. Halacha is conjunction of Shimon Gamliel. Afilu hoyu behen avodim v'yitzion l'cheres. Even if the sale is going, there's avodim, and the sale is going to go ahead, and avodim are going to be freed, and you're going to be over the issur of oilam ta'avodu. Says pshita ma'adu tema hamaleilam eved surah lo yabina. I didn't give it to you what, but to gave you the avodim not to sell, to be over on the issur of oilam ta'avodu. Nonetheless, it works. Kamash malan. Even if the sale is going to make a what? Shrouds for a mace, it will be permitted. Pshita. I gave it to you to have a no. I didn't give it to you to make it asa b'hano. Kamash malan. This esrog is given to you as a matana. And afterwards it's going to go to so and so. Natlu rishoin v'yatzeba. It comes along what? The Rishon comes along the Rishon and Yotzeba. He takes it and makes a bracha on it. So that says the Gemara, Banal Machloikis Rabbi Rishim Gamliel. That comes to the Machloikis. According to Rabbi, he won't be Yotza, right? Because he doesn't only has Kinyan Paris in it, right? And therefore it's not Lachem. It has to be Lachem. So your Kinyan Paris is not Lachem. So therefore, you will not be Yotza. Therefore, you will not be Yotza. Rabbi Shimon said you would be Yotza. Maskler of Nachman by Yitzchak. I come like pligi Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Chasam El Damasova Kinyan Peres Kinyan Aguf Dami. That's Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Umasova Kinyan Peres Lav Kinyan Aguf. That's Rabbi. El Hacha Amid Beis. El Hacha Imafik Le Nafik Bay. Amai Yovnel Le. Guys, what's the Kinyan Peres of an esrig? Where's the difference in Kinyan Paris and Kinyan Guf? The whole purpose of an esrog is to be Yaitz the mitzvah. So if you gave it to him, but even if it's Kinyan Paris, that the peri of an esrog is not to use the esrog. That makes no sense. Right? Look at the top at Rashbam. The mafik le'nafik rishon le'rebi l'may yovnel le. Even like Rebbe, that this lavke Kinyan aguftani, why did he give it to him for? So he ain't by Paris acherois. The aguf ain't yachal limchar v'lechal. He gave it to him the whole mitzvah the mitzvah. That's called Lechem. The only sheni koyach ba calls man sheroy l'zeh rishon l'tzatzis ba. The sheni has nothing in it the whole time. The first person used to be Yotza on the 15th day of Tishrei. The achrecha kamar only afterwards. Okay. It's not comparable to esrog shutfin that felt in Lechem. Shein Yotza ba kidol kaman, as we'll see. The hasam kula miyahave. They each had a part of the action. The whole time he has it, in other words, afterwards to you. When you have it, and afterwards it's going to go to the other individual. So therefore, there's no machloikus over here. Not bundle of machloikus. He's disagreeing. Nachman Yitzchak is saying that he's disagreeing. Says Gemara. It's no machlokes. Even Rabbi would hold you Yaitza, guys. Even Rabbi would admit, even though Rabbi holds Kinyan Paris as Lavka Kinyan Aguftami, he would hold you Yaitza. The Nafik Bey. Machra ay achla, if he eats it or he sells it, banal machlokes. Rabbi Rav Shimon Gamliel, that would enter the machlokes between what? Rabbi and Rav Shimon Gamliel. Whether he can eat it or he can sell it. Whether he can eat it or he can sell it. That would be machlokes. According to Rabbi, since he's kind of the payers, not the Kinyan Aguf, it's also for the Rishon to sell it or to eat it. and he has to pay the worth of the esrog to the second person, right? If he ate it or sell it, you have to pay it to the second guy. According to Shum Gamliel, says Kinyan Paris, right, is Kinyan Aguf, then the Mechira of the first person would be Chal, and he doesn't have to pay the second person anything. That would be the machlokes between the two. Amar Rav Chana, ha'achin shekonu esrog b'tfus zabayis. You got brothers, they inherit an esrog from the estate. Natlu echamehem, one of them takes without rishus of the other brothers, v'yotzebon, he's yotzeh the mitzvah. So right, if he knows that the brothers are in makbid, yachal or yachal oichloi yatsa, then lav. If he doesn't know they're makbid lo yatsa, but dafka the ikka esrig l'chocha b'chad. That's dafka there's other esrigim to other people. Aval, if he only has this one esrig, the question with Yigaris is not or parish. He has a quince or remind lo yatsa. Afilim yidua sheina achim akpidim the kidul el. In other words, if he only has one, then what? Then you won't be yatsa. Amarava, someone says to his friend, Esrig said, Noisin l'cha b'matana, almanash shetachsirei hu li. This esrig is yours on the condition that you return it to me. Will not lie, his friend took it for yatsa bay. Hechsirui yatsa, if he returns it, it's yatsa, because then it's lachem. Like hechsiru, if he doesn't return it, lo yatsa, because it's not lachem. Kamash malon, what's the chiddush? The matana, almanas lahachsish ma matana. Ahi isasa da havi lo dikla ba'ara. There was this woman who had a dikla in her land. The Rav Bibi Barabaya, Kol Amos to Havi Oslo the Migzere, when he wanted to go cut down some dates, Havi copied Lava, he was makbid. It was makbid that this woman should go ahead and cut down the dates because she was trampling on his flower beds. Aknisa Nehele Kol Shone Chayav. So the woman was makna the decal to him all the days of his life. So he had the Kenyan Paris, right? Oslo Iyo and Akle Nehele went ahead and was makna Lebanoi, he was makna to Benoi cotton, makna. Whether you go his cotton, that's machlokes, but he was makna to his son. And according to Shum Gamliel, who said we pass like him, right? It would be chal. He wouldn't have to return it. According to Shum Gamliel, you wouldn't have to return it. Amrafuna Breda Vishua Mishum Da'asim and Muloi. Since you come from truncated kahanim, Gemara in Rosh Hashanah that Rabbi and Baya they both came from Bnei Eli and they died at an early age. So Rav Huna is saying, Yeshua is saying because you come from you're a descendant of Abaya. You're a Bibi, a descendant of Abaya that came from Bnei Eli. You said truncated, short things. I'm using Mili Miliasa. You're saying something that's truncated, that's short. I feel if Shim Gamliel like Amar, Ella La'acher, if he sells it to another individual. Aval Atzma, if he sells it to himself, light. And it would be that what you're not Yaitza. Okay, you know you're not Yaitza. Amar Rava, Amar Rav Nachman. Shor Zed Noisin L'cha B'matana. Bashbam says this should be before the last case. This shor is given to you as a matana on the condition you return it to me. What does he do? He takes it and ikdishu. He's magdish the shor, and he returned the shor. I said mukdish and muksa. So it's kaidish and it's considered returned. I'm like Rava, Rav Nachman, Maya Hadre. Why do you give him back? You give him back something you can't use. So I'm like Rav Nachman said to Rava, my chasre. It's like Hari Shechol Fanecha, right? Hesek Sheni Nika. You're giving him back, mamish. What I gave you. I can't use it, but you told me to return your ox, I returned your ox. Elo Amra Vashi, Chazina, let's see. If he gave it on the condition that you return it, he returned it. If he said on the condition that you return it to me, and he said me, what was he saying? Something that he could use. And therefore, since he won't be able to use it because it's Kodesh, it would not be a good chazara, and it would not